Welcome Rusty Pigeons, welcome back. Or maybe you're a newcomer, also possible. Today I wanted to talk about organizations and base building and organization banking and the they were announced like 2 years ago, the distribution centers in Star Citizen. So we will have a look at some video footage of SitCon and the last Inside Star Citizen, I think it was, where Jared mentioned the distribution centers are coming in 2023. So it's a long video. I will pause sometimes. I will update this also with some nice text in between with some list work. So it will be a nice chat, I think. Let's go. So let's have a quick look around here. This could be maybe an inside of an org center sometimes. Let's party.
Now let's go into formally announcing some other things that we're working towards. Distribution centers. Mm-hmm. Distribution centers, which we've shown off. I think we first introduced the idea of them at CitizenCon 2 years ago. We revisited them at the CitizenCon last year. I think we did a Journey to 4.0 special somewhere in the middle. They blurred together. People, I'm sorry. I've done a lot of these shows. Distribution centers are now fully on track to come in Alpha 3.23.
Yep.
What can you tell me about what players can expect?
Okay, so just as a bit of background, the distribution centers are these massive facilities. They truly are really big. They're down on the surface of planets and moons and things like that. And they kind of are what they sound like, right? It's a center of distribution. Like there are lots of landing pads. It should be a big hub of activity, basically. And there are a lot of different areas of the distribution center that are different from each other. So you've got the exterior, typically where people will be landing their ship, unloading cargo, things like that. You've got the offices up top, which is generally more of a front for whatever business or corporation has ownership of this place. And then you've kind of got more of the inner workings, which are kind of where you would typically expect to see cargo being ferried. If there's machinery that are producing stuff down there, if they're making something, then that would be where that's all tucked down. So
let's have a quick recap. The way I was thinking, he mentioned distribution centers for corporations or factions, that sort of stuff. But I cannot let go of this idea that the distribution centers on planets or moons in the several systems we have and more to come, maybe a very good spot for your organization. And the reason is because the distribution centers give you all sorts of things, like he mentioned like a minute ago. He mentioned producing stuff down in the basement of these centers or rooms. You have cargo storage. So in a lot of MMOs, you have guild banks or guilds. They are the same as the orgs, the organizations that we have in Star Citizen. So I was thinking you can build your own base as a player. You can build a larger base if you are with a group of friends. But what are you going to do with your organization? So your organization is in need of a place, a gathering hub for store like valuables that all the players from this organization gather around the systems, like minerals, materials, relics. Maybe they create some stuff like making narcotics or drugs, or maybe ammunition or weapons, or all sort of stuff that you can produce or make in the future. So you want a place that you can just store it there. And it would be secure, and also maybe like some blueprints that you are acquired or have acquired, or maybe some data that you have discovered that you don't want to share with any other organization or player just yet. So that's the reason why I was thinking, let's have a look at this video again, and also the explanation after this video of what distribution centers are, with a little bit more of an image, like the movie from sitcom, and also how cargo elevators are coming into play also in these thoughts of having an organization hub large enough to manage all your cargo, produce a lot of stuff. Because if you want to go raiding, or want to take on other orgs, or just want to expand your own organization as a multinational, you are in need of a larger place than only base building. So let's go. Let's listen a little bit further.
What we're trying to provide for 323 is some variety between the different locations, so slightly different layouts between the different distribution centers, so they all feel a little bit different from each other. Have different factions at each of these places as well, which should give a very different feeling of what you're going to be doing there. So just as an example, and we talked about this recently, is you might have a law-abiding faction there, and typically you would be doing what you would expect to at a law-abiding place, where you would be trading, talking to people, things like that, all above board. If you're a pirate, you can obviously come and attack and cause trouble, but they might have security systems made to deal with you. You might also have a hostile faction that's take over one of these things that a corporation maybe previously had, and they came in and took over, and that would be a very combat focused area for you to go and play in. And then you might have something that's more of a mix.
So he mentioned that these distribution centers are maybe take over by hostile gangs or organizations that took hold of this company, of this distribution center, and you can also encounter this in the universe. That's it's a little bit of a thought to have, and also when we go further along in this talk show or this discussion, what would be a good place, what it entails to have this, etc. So keep this in mind.
You go in, the front is very professional and business-like, but underneath, if you go a little bit deeper, you might find that they're up to no good.
Space wallet.
Yeah, so ultimately for the content we want to provide, the distribution centers have a lot of possibility, and there's no way that we're going to provide all of the content that we want to in one drop, but we definitely want you interacting there, doing cargo missions, and potentially some basic like combat missions and things like that to interact with all of the different areas of the distribution centers we're going to provide. But
I wanted to pause a moment here, because I think the biggest thing in the upcoming months will be this distribution centers, and also I will show you an image that I found in the fundings list. So it was a funding goal that players can have their own, or can manage their own star systems, no, not star systems, space stations, or player hubs, that sort of thing. But I will show it to you in the video after I edited it. But it's how it's described. We will be able in the future, if it's still valid, of course, we are able to manage our own space stations. But I think that's a little bit a jump too far for now. So I am thinking first do org bases or hubs, org banking or org trading, that sort of stuff. Gathering with your org for assignments or raids, or just make full out war with other species or that sort of stuff. We don't know, but I will put it in the video and you can have a look at it.
The future is very exciting for them.
And these are
big and diverse.
And these are humongous. These are the biggest thing we've done short of a landing zone.
Yeah.
They are massive. They are microcosms of the entire Star Citizen FPS experience. When I say FPS, I mean things not in a spaceship. It's you'll get missions that will take you to these places. You'll go to these places to take to get missions that take you out. Some missions we'll be talking about these on ISC in just like 2 weeks, so I don't want to spoil everything. But some of the missions are self-contained within the distribution center. They're that big that you can do the entire loop within the distribution center.
Yep.
Hi, Daisy. They really are an exciting new addition, and in 323 is not the end of them. Like I said, 323 is not the end of anything like this. They will continue to evolve beyond that. It's one of those things. I don't think we're ready to share that just yet, but there are some exciting plans for distribution centers beyond 323 that. Boy, when they let me tell you, I'm going to tell you really loud.
Yes, Jared, that's why this idea is plotted into my head, of course, and that's the reason why I'm making this video, because when I connect the dots, I find it very plausible that distribution centers will be becoming the first hubs of your organization. Most of these organizations have a lot of players, like you have organizations with ranging from 500 to 3,000 or even more, in the 10,000s, I think. So you must have big places and maybe expandable places where they can expand, like in a structure or room or down in the planet, to get sleeping hubs for people that are staying for several days, and you have like ship storage, your own storage, you have like repair, that sort of stuff. You have like protection in place, maybe some personal protection with vehicles, but also protection with autocannons or turrets, that sort of stuff. So yeah, we will have a look.
All right.
Hello and welcome to Destination Adventure. My name is John Griffiths. I'm the lead environment artist for EU Sandbox 2, and I'm the product owner for the distribution centers. Before we delve into, I'll put my slide on for a start. Before we delve into it, everything that you're going to see is currently in grey box, so just keep that in mind. So, these distribution centers, what are they? Well, first off, they're the biggest location we have on the ground outside of landing zones. The reason why they're so big is intentional. We wanted them to accommodate as much world and mission-based gameplay as possible. Each location supports multiple landing pads and hangars, making them accessible to as many players as possible at any one time.
Very important, I think. You mentioned that landing pads, hangars must be possible for all the players that are visiting most of the time. So it would be very suitable for an org, right?
There's even a road network to support transit from the planet's surface, into the main building and to any berth ships. So every distribution center will be owned by a faction. Depending on the faction and where the distribution center is located on the planet.
It would be awesome, right? If this piece, Grey Cat, is removed and spray painted. No, of course not spray painted, but you have your organization logo here, right here, and your name on it, on this huge structure. So that would be awesome.
Will determine its specialism. Now, each specialism will lend itself to different missions and gameplay opportunities. So let's talk about some factions for a moment. So an example of a major faction would be the UEE. Now, at their distribution centers, they're likely to be more specialized towards military supply, research and development, or communications, depending on which branch of the UEE it is. They will have a much stronger military presence in the area. And missions here may be more hostile with combat-orientated, team-based raid opportunities. Other examples of hostile gameplay that we're thinking of is hacking and stealing, searching for and destroying a specific item, tracking and eliminating any VIPs, and you know, everyone's favorite, eliminate all.
What he just mentioned, the points were a good example. Hacking and stealing, search and destroy, eliminate VIPs or maybe important org members. Eliminate all is just to try to take over as another org, try to take over this distribution center. So hostile gameplay, I think it's also suitable if you put this as a blueprint over the org structure, right?
His favorite, eliminate all. Grey Cat Industrial would be an example of a minor faction. So their distribution centers will be more specialized towards gathering resources, manufacturing, assembly, shipping.
They look
There would be a
awesome.
security presence here, but it won't be that as strong as a major faction. Our missions here would be more suited to friendly gameplay loops, though we won't be ruling out hostile missions like corporate espionage. Yes, some other friendly gameplay types. Cargo hauling, like I said, resource gathering and mining.
This also, cargo and hauling, resource gathering and mining, maintenance. Resource gathering and mining, I don't think it's able to do this at a distribution center, but we have, of course, our own bases that we can build with our own extractors, where we can collect all this stuff, bring it over here, process it right here. You see like this furnace here, some production area stuff. So yeah, I think this will be in place also for an organization.
Maintenance of the location. But you know, that's enough of me talking about it.
Yeah,
how about
let's see it.
we show you where we're up to with these distribution centers?
So this was 6 months ago, right? So they are now 2 months before launch of the next patch, 3.23. So yeah, I find it very plausible that these are in, and also maybe not fully like planned, but maybe in the future we have our own distribution center as an org, or multiple distribution centers across systems. Right. So the possibilities are endless. And also I think you can hire NPCs, for example, and that do like basic protection of your base. Of course, org members, own org members can do this better. And like these NPCs will have a penalty. Maybe also some NPCs that load or unload your ships, right? So that you don't have to do this by yourself, but that you can do other things in the time between. Like, yeah, it would be awesome to work as an org or for an organization. Also, of course, for your own, like living on your own terms in your own home base, but the stuff that you are gathering or mining or creating, you can bring it over here. It's more secure. There's even a spy against the tree, of course, having a quick look what is going on. But yeah, find this maybe a future for the organizations. Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Now we are gonna have a look at the inside.
To talk you through the corporate spaces at these locations, please welcome Rainer Rick to the stage.
Hello, hello. So my name is Rainer Rick. I'm a lead environment artist at the Montreal studio, and we've been working with John's team on the distribution centers. So John just showed how massive these locations are, he also presented the industrial sections on the ground level. And I'm here to present the administrative area of these facilities that the Montreal team has been working on. So, they're located above ground, just below the tower highlighted in the picture. Inside, you'll be able to explore the corporate office space and interact with the administrative personnel. Accessible via the lifts and the hangars, and also the industrial sections we saw earlier. In addition, we've added also landing pads in front of the lobby.
This feature, the offices, would be ideal for organization leaders or staff employment that are doing daily jobs for the organization, right? So you have players coming and going with resource gathering, that sort of stuff, just to fill your own guild bank. And so you can create, like in other MMOs, you create like expensive potions for boss fights, that sort of stuff. Now you can collect resources, produce maybe ammunition or ammo types, that sort of stuff. Maybe you can create your own ships in the future, your own vehicles for raiding and boarding, that sort of stuff. So yeah, very good, I think. For I will see me as an organization leader hanging out in the offices for doing that sort of stuff.
Specifically designed for smaller ships and ideal for short stays like pickup or delivery missions. And we can't ignore the fantastic views we have from these platforms. A reminder of the vastness of these facilities. Now, let's step inside the lobby. You'll find the atrium, which is a central point of the administrative area, providing access to various locations of the corporate space. Within this space, you'll find the reception desk, and as a newcomer, you'll be expected to report here first. So here you can hand over your deliveries or pick up packages and earn reputation points with that faction. So also expect to see corporate ownership reflected through branding, color schemes, and product placement throughout the corporate hub.
So, of course, he's talking about getting reputation from certain organizations or that sort of stuff. That's also possible, of course, for if you like to come into an organization. Now, of course, you send them an email or in Discord, you send them a message and you get access to the organization and you can read all the rules, that sort of stuff in the Discord. But what if the rules are just readable inside these offices? You can go here and not build up some reputation, maybe, or build up some reputation for this organization. And then you can, of course, join this organization maybe through a desktop or a hub that is located here in the offices after speaking to certain leaders of the organization. So very good. Also ownership, corporate branding and color scheme. So if we could adjust all this sort of stuff, you can just implement your own color scheme for your organization logos or your own color scheme that if you are more of a combat orientated, maybe it's more like red and black. If you are more luxurious, you have like silver, gold, carbon, that sort of stuff, look, or marble. Product placement respective of brand. So of course Grey Cat is making all these sorts of buggies and tools and armor for mining and salvaging, that sort of stuff. But maybe you can place here like a nice statue of your logo or maybe some creator of the organization from history, that sort of stuff.
And with the use of overlays, we'll be able to swap these out depending on the ownership. And here's an example with Grey Cat showcasing their vehicles and some shiny armor. And back on the topic of reputation, as it grows, you can expect to gain access to the executive office spaces. From here, you'll meet with unique quest givers, and depending on your reputation level, you'll receive various mission types.
So also this, right? You get access to the upper levels, like you can only go below and drop off packages at the counter or at the entrance. And now if you have a high enough rep, you can come into these offices but it will give us gameplay also org-wise, right? Hand over documents, it's possible, like you want to do in a close environment, or not by, and it's where it's not possible that are corporate spies in the vicinity, or that sort of stuff. Unique quest givers can go and leave this place maybe to give quests to organizations. Assassination, of course, maybe you are entrusting the wrong people and they will assassinate you as an org leader, just to create chaos and disrupt the organization, to try and conquer the organization hub or the distribution center, and much more, of course.
Either friendly or hostile. And finally, the distribution centers were designed as an evolving location. We've built this with future expansion in mind. And in the back of the lobby, for example, doorways could eventually lead to additional office space. So, enough talk. Just before I show our progress so far, I want to give a big thank you to the Montreal team for their work on the administration area.
Great work, guys.
Thank you. And as John mentioned, we're still in gray box phase, so just keep that in mind. But let's take a look.
What I'm noticing is that in the background you have this very big flat area where this distribution center is located, and that it's cutting off the mountains. It's a little bit strange. I hope they will bring up this natural environment around the distribution centers at a higher level, of course, but this is still in gray box, and also in the years to come they will evolve. They also mentioned just yet that these locations are evolving, so you can expand them, right? Behind the corridors or behind doors you can locate extra offices, maybe sleeping hubs, maybe bar, shops, that sort of stuff. The possibilities are endless, right? So this person that is walking right now could be an org leader, for example, but also in this case is much more of an executive of Grey Cat, or for example. It would be awesome to have this sort of locations and managing your org from such a location, and after that move on to space stations or even larger things. Maybe you can own a planet as an organization in the future. I don't know. It's just, the possibilities are endless, right? Star Citizen is such a great game, such a good idea. I backed it from like the early 2014, and it hit me like a bomb right there. Just keep talking about the space game. Also give them ideas, because I hope this video will reach out to CIG so that they can have ideas from this.
And now let me welcome back John on stage. He's going to continue the presentation. Thanks a lot,
guys.
Yes,
rating.
Team did a great job with that video. Okay, so something we've been working on that's unique to this location is raids. Click on. So raids are team-based missions with a focus on high-risk, high-reward operations. As Carl mentioned previously, you'll be able to choose how you gain entry to these locations. Coming prepared and geared up will make the difference between success and failure.
So come prepared. Come prepared will also mean, of course, scouting the area before you are going to this hub, and also know what's inside. Maybe if this is not owned by a company but by an organization, you have like this vault or this database inside of the distribution center that can hold all the blueprints of these organizations, all the high quality blueprints that they have researched, that sort of stuff. So maybe in the future you can prepare raids, like raiding other organizations to get their knowledge, but also get, of course, the goods, the materials, but maybe also the knowledge.
Ultimately, you'll need to work together in order to succeed. So these raids will have you breaching the interior of the main structure, highlighted here. Now, each interior will comprise of rooms that...
These are landing pads, of course. You have the roads, but these are big hangars, right? So you can drop in your spaceship, put it in your personal hangar, or maybe you can open up your personal hangar right here. So, yeah.
Reflect the location's specialism. For example, a shipping-focused distribution center will have rooms dedicated to the storage of cargo. Looking to the future, we're planning on having distribution centers with subterranean levels that will be accessed from this interior space. These will expand upon and increase the difficulty of these raids. Now let's take a look at one of these raid missions in action, but please note that this is early gameplay prototype of a raid.
So it is containing this area, but I think like last year, in the beginning of last year, they also showed us like the sub levels of these of these hubs. So these distribution centers have like multiple layers down, and what you just mentioned is like if you project this in a raid environment that you can raid, of course, you have this first floor, second floor, you go down, 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 and it will be increasingly harder. Maybe the location itself, it's more environmental. You have turrets down there, you have maybe Titan suits, protectors, that sort of stuff. Just to give you an idea of what is possible, of course, right? Because entering such a such an area with only a Cutlass Black or maybe a steel would be not a very good idea, I think. So you go down, you have these big elevators, securities. Also, very cool, very cool. Let's have a quick look back right here. What you will see is using the environment as a shield. So let me pause it in the right moment. Walking, you see them carrying a 2x1 SAU with the tractor beam. So one is protected behind. Yeah, of course. I hope I don't know if this is explosive material or maybe ammunition inside of this box. But you see, you can use your environment. It's just a little bit of a thought. Also, you can climb up, of course. It gives you all sorts of possibilities. Like this also. This vehicle, this manned vehicle, it's used to put on cargo so that you can haul it. It's like some sort of trolley. They also showed it in the cargo hangars, like in our own hangars for the future. So you have this big warehouse, like this stack of buildings, shelves that you can put stuff in. I think they have the Weevil eggs, right? The green boxes. For now, Weevil eggs. So, load it up, kill all the employees you see, and just take off in your Cutlass Black and move on with your day, right? Easy as that. So maybe it is this easy if you are looking at a corporation level. Like Grey Cat, they have like low security employees.
Thank you. So, as you saw in the video, the team took a more aggressive approach to getting inside. and taking what they wanted. But this isn't the only approach you can use. You know, multiple points of egress allow you to be stealthier, and it may make it easier for you to avoid obstacles in your path. Now, reputation will also tie into these raids. Missions will have varying objectives depending on the player's reputation level, and dynamic events may also be triggered during the raid, so players will need to adapt to an evolving situation. This could range from dealing with additional security personnel to other players arriving to defend the
location, yes. So triggering of dynamic events will also maybe mean that if you get attacked by another organization, if this is your organization hub of your distribution center, all your people from your organization will get a message that the compound has been attacked and come to reinforce. So that would be awesome. Maybe you, as another organization who is attacking, maybe you have the possibility to just counter this with countermeasuring, like communication arrays, that sort of stuff, or just like how do you call this? The not the hackers, but the disruptors for the communication signals, that sort of stuff.
Against you. Something else we've been prototyping is how we can utilize the multi-tool to create gameplay puzzles. Physically interacting with the environment around you changes the puzzles for everybody. With multiple add-ons for the tool available, you may have to get creative when finding a solution to the problem in front of you. In this next video, we show you how using the tractor beam attachment can open up new paths to your objective, but it's up to you to decide what path you can create with what is available. Let's watch the video.
So this is more of a platform-based, a platform game-based, like creating your own path with stuff that is in the environment, right? It's a quiet video, but you get the point. Of course, you can create all this also as an organization to keep your valuable stuff pretty good hidden and less accessible. So this will buy you time to prepare a counterattack or that sort of stuff.
So yes, thank you. Now, obviously, it was this location would be possible with several people at CIG. So my thanks go to Manuel, John, Jack, Martin, Farouk, Luke, Chris, Mustafa, Sam, Tom, and Rob. You've been excellent. Thank you to Rainer and his team in Montreal.
So, of course, he's thanking everybody because it's a huge effort to pull this off. Also, the Montreal team that they own right now.
Montreal, you know, none of this would be possible without their efforts.
So.
And yeah, thanks to everybody here and online watching. Really appreciate your support. On to the next one.
Okay, in this presentations of SitCon also, the next step is the cargo elevator and the personal hangars.
Hello.
So that would be a...
This is a good segue from the distribution centers, as I'll be talking to you about different aspects of cargo and freight on behalf of Art and Design.
So this would be a smaller part, I think, not small in the sentence, but smaller in organization.
My name is Nick Etheridge, and I'm an Assistant Environment Art Director. So obviously cargo isn't just about boxes. It's a big part of the game. Almost every aspect of the game has some kind of involvement with cargo. And I'm going to briefly go through some of them now. So let's start with missions. How will hauling contracts work in-game? We'll be introducing the Interstellar Transport Guild, as well as formalizing some of the main hauling and cargo companies that you'll be working with.
Or organizations. So Interstellar Transport Guild. Now they mentioned the guild, of course, but maybe this could be Interstellar Transport Organization. And you work for an organization, you have your own branding done with people that can create your own livery for on the sides of your ships or on your armor, that sort of stuff would be awesome.
As you do more hauling contracts, you will build up your reputation and relationship with the guild. This will lead you to gaining more lucrative contracts for specialized cargo and destinations, such as different forms of hazardous cargo, perishable cargo, riskier routes, and more.
Also, if you see the list of cargo types that they have already in, like hazardous cargo, perishable cargo, fragile cargo, priority cargo, high-risk routes, you see all this cargo. Do you want it in your own habitation, in your own base, for example, or do you want to store it in a bigger vault or warehouse, like from your organization? It would be making perfect sense, right?
So what do I mean by hazardous and perishable? Well, as you know, there's lots of commodities in the game, and different commodities have different properties. As you know, with events like Xenothreat, we have some special cargo types with different attributes, such as time-sensitive cargo or quantum-sensitive cargo. But those were a small selection for the event, and they were the two-handed carryable types anyway. We'll be expanding those types, plus lots more types, to the wider game and to these hauling contracts.
So, I think it's very, in the future, it's very good possible, of course, that you have like radioactive material that you must handle with like suits that you are protective. But if you are putting it in your base, you have like this expensive own warehouse module in your own home to protect the other areas from your base from the radiation. So maybe it's much more or it's better to put this sort of material in the vault bank of the distribution center of your organization that is purely created for hazardous materials, right? So it's a cheaper option, and it's better also for your environment to live in.
So how does this affect gameplay? It will affect the choices you make when you are handling, storing, and traveling with the cargo. For example, with size and weight. Is it carryable? Do you need a tractor beam? What type of tractor beam do you need? Is it a handheld one or a ship tractor beam? Some containers can only be moved with ship tractor beams, for example. With health, has the container got good integrity? Is it holding fragile goods? Do you need to handle it with care? You can't just throw all containers about. For temperature control, do you need to ensure the container is powered so it can keep the contents cool? Or do you need to get to your destination quickly? Otherwise,
there
the
is
contents
so
may
much more
perish.
coming to cargo hauling,
For security,
cargo
can the container be
storing, that
locked
sort of stuff.
or hacked? Can the contents be scanned,
So-
or is the container tracked?
This one in your own base.
Will there
Just
be
sleep at
pirates
night
or law after
Just
you
relax
when you're holding this container?
next to it.
Hazard containment. Is it radioactive? You might need the right protection against it, as you may have seen in Jens's presentation earlier. Can it explode? You might not want to put these containers on a more exposed section of your ship. And many of these attributes
your base.
are going to be visually distinctive. So conversely, if you want to steal, for example, some cargo on a hull C, which does have very exposed cargo containers, you might want to avoid shooting blindly and accidentally blowing up your potential profits.
Right. Stealing cargo brings me to the next topic, of course. If you are an organization of pirates, you have like these massive ships that you want to take over, like a hull C, hull D, or hull E even. All these cargo, is it possible just to fly with this cargo to the next city and sell it? Or is it suspicious, right? Is there a bounty on your head already, or the ship is marked? So you have to get rid of the ship, of course, but you want to keep the cargo. So maybe you can put all the cargo into your distribution center of your organization, your pirate organization, and you just resell it in smaller pieces, smaller parts of you. Use it to build your own base on another planet. I don't know.
So look out for those types of containers. back to mission progression. We'll be introducing perks and rewards as part of fulfilling contracts and raising reputation with these companies. For rewards, we'll have branded ship and tool skins, branded clothing.
Such a cool idea.
There will be collectibles to decorate your hab, hangar, or ship, or you can put them anywhere you want. And there'll be more exclusive rewards that we'll be revealing later. Thank you. For perks, you'll get access to more items in shops and discounts on specific items. And all of these rewards and perks you need to earn in the game. You cannot just buy them.
So this could be applied to an organization as well, right? How higher you are in your reputation with some sort of organization, the higher your perks will become. So you get more rewards, like special things, exclusive rewards. So in most MMOs, they have this system already, but Star Citizen, not yet, but maybe in the future then.
Next, let's have a look at freight elevators and hangars. I knew you'd be excited for this. I'd like to show you a short video to demonstrate how freight elevators will change how you view your hangars and how you use your hangars.
This could also be your elevator in your own organization hub, where you work with your organization mateys to just fill up your ship, prepare for raiding, boarding, that sort of stuff. But maybe you can also hire NPCs to do this work, of course, for you. I don't know. Maybe you give them 50 or 5% of the earnings. Total loading space 960 SCU. So it's fairly big. Working together with the beams, of course. Beam citizen, they call it sometimes. Make a little joke out of it, of course. You will see also here, this is the trolley. So I think we will get this little neat machine also in the next few months somewhere.
No.
All your vehicles from your organization are coming in as well, of course. Like load up for your expeditions, your mentioning the word expeditions. If you are an adventurous orc, like the orc of Indiana Jones, for example, you like to find treasures and do exploration. You also wanted to have like a place where you can hold of your artifacts, of your data for finding some ancient relics or alien relics. Right? It's just, the possibilities are endless.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as you can see, hangars, they will become persistent and personal, meaning you can stay there as long as you want. Whatever you leave there will persist and will be yours to use as you see fit. Your hangar won't just be a place that you leave from in your ship. It will become a key base of operations to handle your inventory and storage needs.
This for an organization is, of course, would be a little bit different, because you have access to certain levels of, for example, the vault or the warehouse, and certain amount of cargo. So you can access the cargo from the organization to load up into your own ship if you are part of this organization, right? That must be tweaked a little bit, I think.
And you'll be able to request your ships from an ASOP terminal from within the hangar itself. Location inventories won't be magic and instant anymore. This means that the freight elevators will be one of the main ways you interact with your local inventory. Items stored at the location can be requested via the elevator kiosks and will be brought up in a physicalized state to do with as you want. This would be done through a dedicated interface screen to manage large volumes of items. It won't be using the personal inventory system. The change is obviously a really big quality of life improvement to retrieving ground vehicles. No longer do you have to travel thousands or millions of kilometers to specific places in the verse to get your vehicle. You'll get them straight from your hangar. You'll also be able to bring up ship components, so your hangar is now more of a maintenance bay and outfitters where you can do repairs and swap around items and things like that. So in short, persistent player hangars in combination with freight elevators will dramatically change what you can do in your hangar. It will be a home to do as you want, which has always been the dream. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
And I will pass you over to Todd Pappy.
Sitcon.
So now we are moving on to the base building part of this video, and also a little bit to the end. But what are your thoughts of having like an organization base or organization hub for like banking, trading with other people, putting away your illegal cargo that you have stolen from an hull C or hull D or something? What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments, of course, so that we can have a little chat at another time in another video.
Come on, I can't hear you. All right, there we go. So, we'll be talking today about something special. It's an update on something that we talked about a little while ago, but we feel it's the future of Star Citizen, and it's the culmination of multiple different game systems coming together. So why don't you play the video?
Very good. Very nice that this is in development for this year and the years after, of course. But what I want to be a little bit more specific about is the amount of bases that you can build, the size of the bases. So I think this is suitable for like groups up until like 100 players, but in the end 100 players or like thousands, it's a little bit different, of course. Like if you see these modules, I don't know if these are small, medium, large or extra large, these that are shown right now. But if this, for example, is a large one, you can imagine that you need like this distribution center for your organization to have even more storage. Because I think you have like also a certain amount of land that you can build on. So in the end, you can build here and extract resources or collect resources, maybe also by farming, that sort of stuff, or animal husbandry. So I think it's more of a gathering hub, base building, your own home as a solo player. But in the end, if you want to play together, you need more access to bigger and much larger structures to assemble all these stuff or collect all this stuff. Really awesome. Have a look. This is a farm module, for example. So you have this farm, these flowers or plants at the top, but it's not that huge. So what you produce right here is maybe enough for 10 till 50 people. But if you want to get an organization going and live, so you have like this farmers in your organizations, you have explorers, you have miners, you have producers, salvagers, that sort of stuff. They all have their own warehouse in your organization hub, for example, to store their stuff, but they all contribute to making your own society as an organization. Very cool. Also the small turrets on top for protection. I think the next part will be important also for this topic.
All right, so base building. All right, it breaks down into two really large gameplay sections, planning ahead and prepping, and then you've got the on-site where you're actually going to build. So with that, you need to figure out what your goal is. Is it to have a home with a nice view and relax? Is it to have a trading post where you want to create and sell items? Is it to gather resources available and move on to the next area? Or is it to be off grid and be completely self-sufficient? So with that, with your prep and everything like that, we've got blueprints.
Like you mentioned the blueprints right now. So blueprints will be coming in the future, of course, but blueprints will also be stored in a database or on these disks. So you need also a vault as an organization to store these things in your own organization hub, for example. Also, you can upgrade them, like you see it's A, B, C. You see, it's if you are researching them, so maybe you have research centers in your own organization hub that speed up this process, because I think this is not done in a few seconds. It's just done in several amount of time, days, maybe even weeks to process it, computers, that sort of stuff.
So the recipes, everything in the game is fabricated from a blueprint. Players acquire blueprints via reputation rewards, missions, or rare NPCs. With any blueprint, you can actually do research on it and then create different variations. With materials ranging...
So different variations, he mentioned. So if you do research on them, but also I think it's a huge strength of an organization. If you have, of course, as a solo player, you have also, for example, the basic blueprints to your available to you. But if you are in need of more like lucrative or more high-end blueprints, you can maybe share them from your organization vault so that you can build them if you are a part of this organization. But if you don't are a part of this organization anymore, you don't have the blueprints anymore. So I think that's also a strength in numbers, but also sharing within your organization.
From the common to ultra rare, you might find them at the local shop or have to travel around the universe to collect them. Unrefined, refined, simple materials, or even complex components will all go into the fabrication. With this, then you got location,
this is important
location.
For this topic.
First area is high security, so you must purchase the land. The base is actually invulnerable because of the planetary shield tech. A security will show up to protect it as well. You pay for the privilege, you're taxed. So at this point, you won't have the best resources available. You won't have access to the best resources available on the planet. If you don't pay your taxes, the shields will go away after a period of time and the base will become derelict and will collapse.
So if you project this on an organization, by having on such a planet a high security location a distribution center. I don't know if it's possible if you are being a pirate organization and put all your stuff there, for example, your stolen goods. I don't think that's possible. But if you are a law-abiding organization, I think it's possible to have this high security one. You have full protection, but of course taxes and fees are coming into play. Like, do you need to pay your organization also taxes and fees so that they can pay taxes and fees to the organization or the owners of the planet for renting these sorts of structures, like the like these cargo centers? So it's high cost, low financial return, but the financial return can come in from other places, but not from gathering stuff around this.
But this is low risk, low reward. Then you've got low security. So again, you must purchase the land. It's owned by an independent corp, gang, or faction. Again, you don't have access to all the best resources
they don't
on the planet.
mention orc.
The base is vulnerable.
But
AI NPCs will show up and protect the base if it's attacked. The protection will escalate over time. Player can also build defenses to help mitigate this as well. And then it's medium reward, medium risk. Then you've got lawless. So this is no protection other than what you build.
So no protection, so lawless. So keep in mind that if you are in need of some sort high-end materials, you're gonna find them in this sort of locations, in the no security locations, with high risk, high reward. So is it, for example, a very good idea to store all your valuable goods in a place like this? Or do you want to go to the lower security or the higher security ones? So, of course, building bases on planets and moons to collect it, but then, of course, just ship it as soon as possible out of there, relocate it to a distribution center of your organization that is in a secured area, right? It makes no sense to me to have all these high value materials in a base location that is very vulnerable for attacking by other players or pirates or that sort of stuff.
There's shields, anti-air. Players can disable the shields by getting close to them and destroying them. High risk, high reward. Since there's no taxes, no protection fees, you get a high return on the resources that you collect. Now, there's some cross-shard and server meshing considerations that will kind of adjust this design in the future, but we'll get into that later once we're really building it. So from here, you've got the tool. So this is what we would consider a surveyor. With this, we want to actually cater to everybody's playstyle, whether you're solo or in an org. With this, you got different buildings that you can produce, from small, medium to large to XL or XL. So with the surveyor tool, you can only build the small buildings. With a vehicle, you can build small and medium-sized buildings. With the Galaxy, you can build small to large structures. And then obviously with the Pioneer,
yeah, big base building.
Pioneer can do it all. And it still works as a mobile base. And we'll talk about some of the more expanded features that we're adding to it in later on. So, and then it's also, we're exploring what can be done in space.
So, if you see this ship, the Pioneer, it's the biggest base building ship we have until now in the system, in the game. Is it possible that this ship can build large enough structures, bases, to fully supply an organization for protection, for enough storage, for enough stuff to get things organized? Or do we need like distribution centers? I don't know. It's just a speculation, of course. It's just a thought. But also keep in mind that this is like single solo player material. Maybe this will be small group or beginning organizations, and this will be more in organization. So also building like outposts somewhere on a planet with extra large structures, and also maybe extra large extractors, that sort of stuff will be possible with the Pioneer. But in the end, you want to ship all the resources that you gathered from this base that you built with the Pioneer over to your organization hub, to your distribution center, for example.
Not just on the planet. So from here, you set off on your journey. So with the land claim, you put your tool down where you want, you launch the drone that is built into the machine, and then from there, this allows the player to access the base building and also land claim mode. With the land claim modes, the player can actually change the size and position of what area they want to claim, and it also shows you the cost and taxes associated with it. If it's in a taxable zone and you don't own the land, this interface will default to it. So if you own land or it's in a lawless area, it'll automatically go to base building mode. So with the overhead view of the land, you can actually place down buildings exactly where you want. You can see the resources beneath the surface, and then you can also place multiple buildings before you actually build. So you can see how it will all come together. You'll see the resources that are needed for it, and then you can also switch back and forth between different modes, which are...
I think also the resources that are necessary to build a bigger outpost somewhere on a moon or on a new planet are also coming from, or by buying them, of course, or producing them and storing them into your organization hub, your cargo center, and from there on loading up to the Pioneer and fly over and build a large enough settlement to get resources out quicker.
We're showing off the resource network and how you link basically power generators to consumers. And then the player can move or deconstruct existing buildings right now with no charge. Fabrication. So when you basically build these buildings, they don't come with any furnishings. And if you didn't bring any with you, then you want to build a fabricator. So depending on what you want to build, there's different sizes of them that support buildings from decorations, armor, weapons, components.
And even ships, right? So you build different size of fabricators from decorations to ships. So it's really important to keep in mind that Star Citizen will become this very big game, a universe where you can even create your own ships. So you can even build your own battle fleet or trade fleet or armada to get on alien species if you are at war, that sort of stuff, right? It's really incredible.
And even ships. So like base building mode, you need blueprints, resources to craft what you want. Everything fabricated is produced it produces a physicalized entity. Stats and quality will depend on the quality of the materials actually used. Once you've done that and you've built your decorations, now you can actually fill the room the way that you want to fill it. So furnishings can be purchased at different locations or they can actually be fabricated. You can do that via first person or in a dedicated mode in the Surveyor's tool. With that, you've got different types of buildings. So you've got utility style, which would be garages, freight elevators, landing pads, storefronts. And then you've got extractors. So with extractors, we want to make sure that nothing in regards to resource gathering is fully automated. A level of player engagement is always needed. So as Nick talked about before, there are different types of commodities, radioactive, perishable, etc. What you'll be doing is pulling out full containers. Then from there, it'll be repairing, or there's wear and tear associated with it, or even misfires like you saw in Thorsten's talk and Guillermo's talk yesterday. There's also upgrade paths for making them more efficient or resilient. Power generators. So with different types of power generators, there'll be some that are more cost-effective as well as effective in different areas. Solar panels will not always work in darkness. Fuel generators will need to be filled up every now and then batteries to store excess power. Then you've got producers. So things that will require the players to combine different resources to produce new items.
I think that's most important for organizations, that you have certain locations with bases around the system or star systems that produce a lot of things so that you can expand your organization or your maybe beginning small society.
and then you've got defense. So anti-air, anti-personnel, and then shield generators. And then the big one.
Yeah.
We start development Q1.
Starting development, eh? Starting development. So the concept is ready, I think. The development is starting now. So maybe we will see this in a year.
It's wonderful to see you.
Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you find this very interesting, like me. If you have questions or thoughts, leave them down in the comments. I will look at them, of course, try to answer them, but also make maybe a follow-up video for this. And if you like this sort of stuff, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.